Welcome to this fourth and final episode of a fantastic series all about menopause. I'm joined with women's health and wellness coach Nicola Peaty and menopause coach Angela Wilkins-Green. Today, on this final episode, we're going to talk in a very positive tone all about how menopause can be used as a catalyst for even greater things. And to start this conversation off, I think we need to have a little bit of context and talk about how are we currently perceiving menopause. So, Nicola, can you kick us off?
Okay, so when I did my qualification in menopause, it was called the third age. And it was only then that I appreciated that a woman goes through three stages in sort of the hormonal stages in her life. You've got the puberty, the reproductive, and the menopausal. And when you think of it like that, if we were to understand we're about to go through this third stage, you would be mentally prepared, wouldn't you? You would kind of understand this is what's going to happen now. And the focus is always on the physical. It's always on the symptoms, the hot flushes, my periods are going to stop, I might need HRT, whatever. Having gone through perimenopause now for about 7 years, and I'm through, I think I've possibly got 1 or 2 years left, we'll see. I can look back retrospectively and think, yeah, that was a tricky part of my life, but I'm through. I'm almost out the other end, and actually, I'm in a really good, happy place because I have looked back. I've gone through a journey. Um, and it's as much on the emotional as it is the physical. And that's what I think we have got to elevate in terms of women appreciating and understanding what this stage in their life is about. It's not just about the hormones. There's something much more deeper, a deeper shift that women go through. And it leads to really good, positive things if you want it to, if you listen to it.
Fabulous. And Angela, I guess I want your perspective. What do you think the perception currently is of the menopause for the general public?
I think the general public is a huge lack of understanding. So I think the majority of them think it's something that happens to women in their 50s. Maybe it doesn't take very long. They will stop having periods. They won't be able to have any children anymore, and they'll probably get a bit cross and have some hot flushes. And I honestly think that's what people think it is.
I'm going to be totally honest with you, Angela. Obviously, now I'm in this space, I have a much better understanding of it. That is exactly what I thought menopause was. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no worries. And yeah, absolutely. And I don't blame anybody for that because nobody ever told us. Nobody, not even the women that were going to go through it. We had no clue. So, when I was 42, I didn't I didn't associate myself with the word menopause because I thought I was 10 years at least too young. So I think that's the perception. It's not widely accepted. We still, as a society in the West, um, see it as a negative thing. We associate it with aging and that women are become less capable. And of course, none of that is true.
You said in the West. Is there a different perception in the East, do you think?
Most definitely. Most definitely. So it's known as the second spring in Japan. And generally, women in Japan and China, as we age, they are seen as these wonderful women. These are the women that know it all. They're the women you go to for all the answers. They have it. They've lived it, this wonderful experience. They are the people that everybody looks up to because they've been there.
I see this in Thailand.
Exactly, exactly. And that is the difference. These women are celebrated. And so for those women, and it's a known fact that these women don't tend to suffer to the extremities that we do with their symptoms. And I truly believe that's because mentally they believe that this is a really good thing that's happening to them. They absolutely understand this to be a wonderful transition that they're going through. Whereas in the West, we have been told that this is not a good thing. So we instantly mentally panic. Oh God, I'm getting old. I don't want this to happen to me. And as soon as we go into that negative spiral of thoughts, we are going to go downhill, because that's what we're telling our brains we're going to do. We're telling our brains literally that this is a bad thing. So it will become a bad thing. This is not what's happening in the East. It's celebrated. It's a wonderful thing to happen. And of course, we are much better at looking after ourselves when we feel like we're in a really good place.
As we are in this episode of celebration, can we please have some examples where you've been working with a woman who's turned maybe a crisis that is connected in some way towards menopause or perimenopausal symptoms, and used it to find something greater or reach a place they never thought was possible? Nicola.
Yes, I have a particular client who went through my program, and it's called Maximize Your Menopause for a reason, because I really want people to reframe it as a positive thing. And when she started, she was so down, she was so emotional, and her teens were going off to university. She was facing empty nest. Her coping mechanisms were not good. She would look to food. She wouldn't handle stress. And we went through my program, and it is 6 steps, but it is step by step. And gradually we changed the narrative in her head. So gradually we kind of changed how she was approaching things, what she was doing. And she just had to unpick a few things, really, to then reintroduce and adapt new kind of positive habits. Anyway, fast forward now, she's loving the kids being away. She's embracing everything for herself. She's got new energy. She absolutely catches herself now when she's finding that she is stressed. She is loving exercise. She is like, literally her eyes are twinkling. And I saw her recently. She's still beaming. And it's just the best part of my job. Absolutely. Because if I hadn't met her, where would she have gone? What would she have done? Who would she have spoken to? And it's not a quick fix, because a lot of it is emotional to start off with. But then gradually, she's gone through each of those steps, and she's just in a lovely place, not just a better place. She's in a really happy, content place. But I know that she's going to take that going forward for the rest of her life, because she's now reclaimed who she is, what she wants, and just feels happy, no guilt. She's happy to prioritize herself. It is wonderful, wonderful.
Angela, can you feel the passion coming out of Nicola as she's talking about this client?
My heart is pounding. It's just the
It's nice,
thing. It's the best feeling.
Angela, can you give us an example of a client who's maybe gone through a bit of a transformation as well?
Yeah, and I don't want this to sound like, you have to come and work with me, but I've got like 3 stories that I'm going, I don't know which one to tell, because they're all so amazing. But I have got one client who I recently finished working with, and actually we didn't end up doing a huge amount of work specifically about her menopause symptoms, but it was the anxiety that she was feeling that was caused by her menopause that enabled her to come and work with me through her organization. And within 3 months of us working together, she had been promoted onto the board of directors. And when we started working together, she was on the verge of walking away. And I feel like that's one of my proudest moments, seeing the change in her and the work that we did on how she was seeing herself and the psychological changes that she went through in the work that we did on how she felt. And then I just want to touch on one other client very quickly, in some simple changes that you can make that make such a huge difference. So I've had another client who I'm still working with, and progesterone. We don't talk about the benefits of progesterone enough. Estrogen gets all the love or all the hate in some cases. But progesterone is also so important to women, especially for their sleep. And we did all of this work together and realized, I think you might just need a bit extra progesterone. And within a week of her upping her progesterone from 100 milligrams to 200 milligrams, she was sleeping through the night like a baby. And she said, I feel like a new woman within a week. And she has had years of suffering. So some of this stuff is long-term growth that we're going to be doing. And other times there are really quick wins that make a huge difference to a woman's life, literally overnight. So, there is so many things that we can do that will make a difference to how you feel.
Amazing. I love both those examples. I think that what was really, really lovely about the first one was that it wasn't just the individual that benefited. We essentially saved her career, but the organization managed to keep what would have been one of their absolute best assets, right? I had a friend who had to quit her career in law. She was a lawyer because of what she didn't realize were menopause symptoms completely crippling how she felt and her ability to turn up. And so she left the career. She walked away from it. And the company lost a massive asset. So I love that example. I guess, but where I'm leading this next bit is, you kind of answered it, but do you think that women in general can reach a completely new potential through menopause? Nicola?
Yes. Yeah. 100% yes. I tell you what, there's nothing more powerful than a woman on a mission. So when a woman knows and understands, and then you ignite something in them and they realize what they can do, then I just think they're formidable. They really are. And it's almost like I have a bit of a mantra in the studio, is permission to let go. And it's permission to let go of anybody that, pulling them down, or any worries or judgment or whatever, and just let it go. And when they hear that and they actually take that on board, it just, I don't know, it just inflates them. It's it's a wonderful thing. And then when you say, go on, get excited. The world's your oyster. Crack on, do it. It's like, really? Can I? Yes. Yes. And that's all. Women don't need a huge amount. They just need the facts, the reassurance and the support and the permission to say, go for it. Go for it. Yes. Why not?
Angela, you're nodding to all the yes.
No,
Is your answer also yes?
100%, 100%. And I'm saying that as a woman still in her perimenopause years. So I'm going on 48. I am still in it. I am still up and down like a yo-yo. I am not going to lie. There are really hard days, but when you're doing the work, and like Nicola said, giving yourself permission to go and find out who you are. What do you love in life? What lights you up? And giving yourself permission not to worry about what everybody else is thinking, because nobody is anyway. They're all too worried about themselves to be worrying about you. So just go and do your thing, live your life, because you've only got one of them. And this is about bringing it all back to you.
What a brilliant way to end. Look, this has been a real honor to be able to host this series. Menopause, as I said, was something I was incredibly ignorant of a couple of years ago, and I've been able to learn so much, which has really opened my eyes to the plight that a lot of women are experiencing. And I love this ending, is that we're using it as a platform for even better things. So thank you both so much for inviting me to host. Thank you so much for sharing your insight. This has been an incredibly valuable series. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jamie. It's been wonderful.